The last normal thing Daniel Hayes ever heard was his own voice laughing. After that, the woods answered back. Daniel Hayes had always been the kind of person who didn't scare easily. At 28, he worked night shifts, lived alone, and loved proving people wrong, especially when it came to ghost stories. So when someone mentioned Black Hollow Woods at a late-night gathering, Daniel didn't hesitate. Haunted woods? He scoffed. There's no such thing. Across from him, an older man shook his head slowly. It's not haunted. Daniel smirked. Oh yeah? Then what is it? The man leaned forward. Hungry. That word stuck with Daniel longer than he expected. Not because he believed it, but because of how serious the man looked when he said it. Still, that didn't stop him. At 1:17 a.m., Daniel Hayes stood at the edge of Black Hollow Woods. Alone, flashlight in one hand, phone in the other, recording. All right, he said into the camera. This is Black Hollow Woods. People say no one should go past the trail marker. He turned the light toward it. A broken wooden post leaned sideways, half-rotted. A sign hung from it. Do not enter. The letters weren't painted. They were carved, deep, like someone wanted to make sure the warning stayed. Daniel laughed. Let's see what happens. And just like that, Daniel Hayes stepped past the marker. The air changed instantly. It wasn't subtle. 1 second, it was a warm summer night. The next, cold, sharp, unnatural. Daniel paused, exhaled. His breath fogged in the air. Okay, he muttered. That's weird. But he kept going. First, everything seemed normal. Trees, dirt, silence. Then he realized that wasn't normal. There was no sound, no insects, no wind, no distant animals, nothing. Even his own footsteps felt muted, like the forest was swallowing the noise. Daniel turned in a slow circle, flashlight beam shaking slightly. Hello? He called out. The word didn't echo. It just disappeared. And then, something whispered back. Daniel. He froze. That wasn't his imagination. He spun around, light cutting through darkness. Nothing. Okay. Not funny, he said, forcing a laugh. But his voice sounded smaller now. He walked faster. Branches scraped against his jacket. The ground felt uneven. Wrong. Then he saw it. The marker. Right in front of him. Daniel stopped dead. No way. He hadn't turned around. He was sure of it. Yet there it was. The same broken post. The same carved warning. All right, he breathed. I just looped somehow. He turned. Walked the opposite direction. 5 minutes later, the marker again. This time, Daniel didn't laugh. Something cold settled in his chest. Weird coincidence, he whispered. But deep down, he knew it wasn't. The forest wasn't letting him leave. That's when he heard the footsteps. Behind him, crunch, crunch, crunch. Slow, deliberate. Daniel didn't turn right away. Because whatever was behind him was matching his pace, step for step. Finally, he turned and saw it. At first, his brain refused to understand what it was looking at. It stood between the trees, too tall, too thin. Its arms hung far past where they should. His legs bent slightly inward, like they weren't built correctly. The skin, pale, smooth, featureless. No eyes. No nose. Just a mouth, wide, stretching across its face in a slow, unnatural smile. Daniel's breath hitched. What the hell? The thing tilted its head. Then, it stepped forward. Not walking, sliding, like it didn't need the ground. Daniel stumbled back. Stay away, he whispered. The thing stopped, and then, it spoke. Inside his head. Daniel Hayes. His knees almost gave out. It knew his full name. Stay. His body locked. He couldn't move, couldn't breathe properly. His thoughts slowed, like something was pushing into his mind. Stay. The word echoed. Deeper. Stronger. Daniel's grip on reality started slipping. Then, another voice. Daniel. Sharp. Human. Daniel blinked hard. The control broke. He stumbled back, gasping, and ran. Branches clawed at him. Roots tried to trip him. The forest twisted around him. Behind him, that thing followed. Faster now. Its body bending in impossible ways. sliding between trees like liquid. Don't look back. The voice came again. Daniel didn't recognize it, but he listened. He ran harder. The trees started thinning. Light ahead, and suddenly, he burst out of the woods, falling hard onto the dirt road, gasping, shaking, alive. He didn't stop running until he reached town. Didn't sleep that night. Didn't speak about it. But something had changed, because the next evening, Daniel Hayes stood outside his house, facing the trees, whispering, "I hear you." Pause. "No. I won't tell anyone." Long pause. "I'm coming back." Neighbors noticed, called his name. He didn't respond, because he wasn't listening to them. He was listening to something else. That night, Daniel Hayes disappeared. No signs of struggle. No forced entry. Just an open door. And muddy footprints, leading away from his house, toward Black Hollow Woods. Search teams went in the next day. They stopped at the marker. Nobody crossed it. But they found something. Footprints. Daniel's. And beside them, another set. Long, thin, wrong, and spaced too far apart to be human. The prints went deeper into the woods. And then, they stopped, as if both had simply vanished. Months later, people started reporting something strange. A man standing near the edge of the woods, late at night, perfectly still, watching. Some said it looked like Daniel Hayes, but something was off. His posture, too stiff. His smile, too wide. And sometimes, if you stared long enough, you could see something taller, standing behind him, bending slightly, like it was using him, like a puppet. And if you got too close, you'd hear it, a whisper, soft, right behind you, saying your name, just like it said his. Daniel Hayes. The first time Emily Harper realized she wasn't alone in the woods was when she saw herself standing in the distance, watching her, smiling. Emily Harper had always loved quiet places, forests, trails, anywhere she could escape people. So when she moved near Ravenwood Forest, she didn't care about the warnings. Locals avoided it, said it wasn't right. Emily didn't believe in that kind of thing. One evening, just before sunset, Emily grabbed her camera and went in, alone. First, it was peaceful. Golden light filtering through trees, leaves crunching softly under her boots. The kind of calm that makes you forget everything else exists. Then she heard footsteps. Behind her, soft, slow. She turned. Nothing. Probably another hiker, she muttered. She kept walking. The footsteps followed. Same pace, same rhythm. When she stopped, they stopped. Emily frowned. "Hello." No answer. Just silence. Then, a voice. "Emily." Her blood ran cold. She turned fast. "Who's there?" Nothing. But the voice. It wasn't distant. It sounded like it came from right behind her. Emily's hands started shaking. "Okay. Not funny," she whispered. She walked faster. The forest changed. The light faded quicker than it should. Shadows stretched too long. And then, she saw it. The figure, standing between the trees ahead. First, she thought it was another person. Then she realized it was her. Same clothes, same face, same camera hanging from the neck. But something was wrong. The smile. Too wide, too still. Emily froze. "No," she whispered. The thing wearing her face tilted its head, then took a step forward. Emily stumbled back. "Stay away." The thing spoke, not out loud, inside her head. "Come closer." Emily turned and ran. Branches tore at her arms. Her breathing turned ragged. Behind her, footsteps, faster now, matching her perfectly. She risked a glance back. Big mistake. It was closer, much closer, and its face was starting to change, stretching, smiling wider than humanly possible. "Emily!" Its voice echoed inside her skull. "Why are you running from yourself?" She screamed and ran harder. The forest twisted around her, paths disappearing, trees shifting. Then suddenly, she broke out onto the road, collapsed, crying, alive. She never went back, but something followed her, because a week later, Emily saw it again, standing outside her window, looking exactly like her. Only this time, It wasn't smiling. It was waiting. And every night, it gets a little closer, because it's not trying to scare her. It's trying to replace her. The last message Marcus Reed ever sent was a voice note, and in the background, something was breathing. Marcus Reed wasn't supposed to be alone, but his friends canceled last minute. Camping trip ruined. Or at least, that's what he thought, because Marcus went anyway. Pine Ridge Forest. Deep. Remote. No signal. Perfect for content. He set up his camera. Started recording. Alright guys, solo camping tonight. Let's see how creepy this place really is. He laughed. But the laugh didn't last long. Because as the sun went down, the forest changed. The temperature dropped. The air thickened. And then, the breathing started. Slow. Heavy. Not his. Marcus froze. Hello. The breathing stopped. Then, from somewhere in the dark, it answered. Hello. Same voice. His voice. Marcus grabbed his flashlight. Swept it across the trees. Nothing. But he could feel it. Close. Watching. Waiting. That night, he didn't sleep. Every time he closed his eyes, he heard footsteps circling his tent. And that breathing. Closer each time. At 3:12 a.m., he couldn't take it anymore. He grabbed his camera. Stepped outside. Okay. Whoever's out here, stop messing around. Silence. Then, a figure stepped into the light. Marcus froze, because he was looking at himself. Same face, same clothes, same terrified expression. Except, the eyes. Empty. Completely black. No, Marcus whispered. The thing smiled, and spoke, with his voice. You shouldn't have come alone. Marcus turned and ran, but the forest didn't let him go far. Because no matter where he ran, he ended up back at his tent. Again, and again, and again, until he realized he wasn't running through the forest. The forest was moving around him. The last thing his camera recorded was Marcus backing away slowly, shaking, crying, "Stay back, stay back." Then, the other Marcus stepped closer and whispered, "Don't worry." The camera fell, and the final thing it captured was that thing's face, stretching, breaking, smiling wider than humanly possible. Months later, hikers found Marcus's campsite. Everything was still there. Tent, camera, gear. But no Marcus. Just one thing. A second set of footprints. Walking beside his. Perfectly identical. And leading deeper into the forest. But here's the worst part. People still go to Pine Ridge. And sometimes, late at night, they hear someone calling for help. A man's voice. Terrified. Begging. Please, help me. But if you follow it, you won't find Marcus Reed. You'll find something else. Something wearing his voice. Waiting for the next person to come alone.